Hello, hello, hello. My name is Boss Lady Jazz. I am the owner of A Pot of Magic. I am a inspirational spiritual coach. I inspire and coach others as I inspire and coach myself because this is always a learning journey that we're on. And I just share tips and help people along the way, especially with the things that I've learned or the things that Spirit gives me to share. I wanted to go ahead and do this class. The name of this class is The Healing the Single Mother's Wounds. The Most High God put it on my chest, on my heart to write this. And at the time, I really thought it was to help heal others because that's what A Pot of Magic is about. It's all about healing and learning to live life abundantly and enjoying life. So I thought this class was really about helping others until I got to writing it and reality set in. Honey, baby, you are a single mother and you got some wounds there too. It was a journey writing this. It did take me a few weeks. I had to go deep into that shadow work, that shadow self, things I swept under the rug, things that I didn't realize were still affecting me. So it was a very emotional journey. Like even through writing this, me and my kids had my son, we had some situations, some issues that we had to work through and pray through. So it was a lot, it was a lot writing this, but I am grateful that the Most High gave it to me to write so that I could heal my wounds and also, help someone else that may not know of the wounds that they have themselves. So yeah, I want to go ahead and get started. It's healing time. Let's get this thing going. It shouldn't take no more than about 30 minutes to an hour, hopefully. We'll see. But because I try to stay on, I made a presentation so that I could stay on track. I have a habit of going way off track and just having all kind of side conversations. So I did make a presentation to try to make sure we stay on track. But yeah, let's get started. The healing the single mother wounds. So give me one moment. Let me get this up. All right. Um, I don't know. I'm saying it twice. Let's just do it once. Hopefully that didn't mess up anything. Anywho, healing the single mother's wounds. I was originally supposed to do this November 27th. However, with Thanksgiving, family, friends, prepping, cooking, all of that, I didn't have time. It's December 2nd. I'm like, let's go ahead and get this out now so we can get these wounds, some light shed on these wounds and get those things healed so we can release them before going into the new year. So let's get started. Class syllabus introduction. Again, my name is Jasmine. I am a spiritual life coach. I assist, inspire, and help coach others as I inspire and coach myself. I am a single mother of 3 kids, 21, 18, and 13. I recently just retired from my 9 to 5, so I do this work full time. I do offer free consultations just so that you can get a feel for me and I can get a feel for you to see how I can assist you. I do intuitive readings, and I just do spiritual readings also because sometimes God may be trying to talk to you and you've just never learned how to listen. So I do help coach others into learning how to listen to that intuition and listen to the Most High God direct you in ways that you should go in life. So if I resonate with you, please definitely like, share, follow, subscribe, and you can always email me at spirited@apotofmagic.com. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. So with the class syllabus, the introduction, myself, lesson 1 is the beginning. We're going to start there. Then I have some classwork I want you guys to do, 5 to 10 examples I want you guys to write down. So please get your pen and paper. I have mine, and I'll definitely share with you guys some examples that I came up with as I was writing this. And I want you to please be honest with yourself. Like, don't play with yourself. Don't It's very important that you be honest with yourself. That is very important. Like, don't remove your ego, remove your pride. If it hurt, say it hurt. If it made you mad, say it made you mad. Like, let's be honest with yourself. That is the most important thing when you're going through your healing process, is learning to be honest with yourself. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. Lesson 2, connecting the dots. And then I have some more classwork. I want you to write about 3 examples using your list from 5 to 10. Then I wrote out some notes to self. These were notes that I used for myself. Also, again, writing this out during the time of creating this class. And I'm going to share them with you in case you want to, add them to your daily self-talk. And then, of course, the conclusion. So let's get into it. Introduction. You may not be aware of the wounds and traumas that come with being a single mother. This class is to help you shed light on those wounds so that you can heal them and release them. The goal of this class is to put you in alignment with the greatest version of yourself, to assist you with manifesting your soul's desires. To do that, we must release what no longer serves your greatness. And to, get you in that state of flow and abundance. If we're still holding on to old wounds and we're still holding on to past traumas and bad habits, it's hard to you're not going to be in alignment with that higher version of yourself, that person you really want to become or want to be. It's going to be hard to be in a state of flow and abundance if you're still holding on to a lot of negativity or a lot of grudges, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain. So we have to shed light on some things to get them to to release them. So this is the beginning. It never really dawned on me the pains, wounds, and traumas that came with being a single mother. Roll with the punches is something I heard often. It became a way of life, never taking the time to process what I was feeling or going through. And that is the problem, I would say, with majority of the people today, is we just keep going. We keep rolling with the punches, and we don't actually take time to process and feel what it is we're feeling and seeing where that feeling is coming from so that we can release it. As long as you're stuffing it in the bag and not actually dealing with it, your bag is just getting full. Like Erica said, bag lady, bag man. Like, you're going to be holding on to that stuff and carrying it with you through life, every relationship, every job, every situation. Like, you're going to be carrying those bags of traumas and wounds until you shed light on them, until you go into that darkness of what is that pain, what is that feeling. Until you go into it, you're not going to be able to truly heal from it. I look back now and I can see how so many things went left because I had no idea of the internal wounds being a single mother caused me. We hear about daddy issues, mommy issues, hell, and even family issues and pains. But when it comes to being a single mom, we are either the superhero or the villain in the story. As adults, we blame a lot of things on our parents, the reason we are the way we are. And, you hear about having to deal with family drama and learning how to set boundaries. And what if your mom is a narcissist or your father is a narcissist? And we talk a lot about that. But what happens when you're the single mother with the kids, and now this is something you caused based off of your decisions, right? We're either the superhero or the villain. Your child will either praise you for all the efforts you tried, or they will curse you and they will damn you because you are the villain in their story. You're the reason nothing went out right. You chose their father and all of these different types of things. So really, you're going to be the superhero or the villain. Mothers are often either blamed or the credit for whatever went right or wrong. There were so many mistakes I made. So many times I want to give up and cry. I became so hard on myself. And of course, I became hard on others, even those I loved. We don't realize the pressure we put on ourselves, our kids, and everyone else around us. When you have been let down repetitively, it makes you have this tough exterior, right? You become really hard on yourself to to be self-sufficient and not need any help, so that you don't have to ask anybody for anything else. That way no one can let you down again. So we become hard on ourselves. Then we don't want our kids to make the same mistakes we made, so we become hard on them. And then because we had it so hard and we had to make it anyways, we don't really show sympathy for others, so we become hard on others. Like, it's the cycle never stops. It's one thing to blame your parents for their choices that led us to feeling abandoned, hurt, or neglected. But what happens when those feelings come from a choice you made? None of us plan to be single mothers. Yeah, well, most of us, I it's funny, I'm laughing there because I put LOL, but for real, most of us don't plan to be single mothers, but there are some who do. There are just some who, whatever, they just out there living their life. So that's fine too also. But I want you to go back to that moment that you realized you were going to be a single mother. Like, really take some time to sit and think about that. What did that feel like? What were those feelings? What were those thoughts? And again, please be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And I'm gonna give you a little time right there to take that in. And with baby fathers, there's some back and forth. You're with them, then you're not with them, then you're with them, then you're not with them. But we never really thought, especially me, I was a teenage mother and I just knew I had my whole life figured out. Like, I had my son at 16 years old. And I just knew I was about to be with his dad. We was going to be together forever. This was going to be my husband. Thank God. What I wanted didn't come true. Hello. But anyways, I thought I had it all figured out. And so I never would have thought I would be a single mom. And I remember having conversations with him, and he was young too. We were just young and dumb, but I remember having conversations with him about how good of parents we would be, and planning all of this stuff. Like, I was ready to show my mom how to be a great mom, and I have a good mom. Don't get me wrong. She wasn't perfect. She made her mistakes. Now I understand that, but I felt like I wanted to be a better mother, and I wanted my child to have a father in home, and all of this fantasy living. I thought that was going to be my life. So I never really honestly thought I would be a single mom. And with me being honest with myself, I had to really go into that. What did I feel? What were my thoughts during those times, right? Right now, I want you to write 5 to 10 feelings and thoughts that you remember having when you realized that relationship, when you realized your baby father was not going to be the father you hoped your child would have. And I know for me, I felt alone, especially at 16. I hid my pregnancy for the longest. I was afraid. Actually, I was 15 turning 16. So I was really afraid. And I was one of those, quiet, never really got into any trouble, made good grades, like very respectful, well-mannered, church-raised girl, choir singing, all of that. And I'm pregnant, 15 years old. So I hid it. And with my baby father being so young, I should have probably got some tissue. I don't know if tears are going to come. Sometimes they do. With him being so young too, he was afraid, and he didn't want me to have the baby. He was afraid, and it was just I was alone. I felt misunderstood. I felt like a failure. I felt unworthy. And we did some back and forth for years. We did back and forth. That's how I ended up having my daughter too, and he actually asked for her. He was like, this is going to complete our family. We have a son, now we have a daughter. And, it just didn't work out that way. So I felt very lost. I felt very neglected. I felt like I always had something to prove to myself and to my kids. Like, the pressure was on, because when you feel like such a failure, you only have really two choices: to give up or to go harder. And it really depends on the type of person you are, or the type of phase you're in that moment, because I go through many phases. If you truly study yourself, you'll learn that you have your ups and your downs. You just have to learn techniques and tools to help you through your highs and lows. So yeah, I felt like I always had something to prove, because I felt like such a failure. I felt like such a letdown to my parents, to my kids, to myself. It was very, very heavy. I also learned to second guess myself. I no longer trusted my choices, because the one thing I didn't want to happen, which was be a single mom and have an absent father, is what happened. I became that stereotype. And honestly, they don't show you any situation where a young single mother makes it successfully. Most images that we are shown are single moms on government assistance, living in the projects, and there's no shade there, because, live your life, baby, do what you have to do. But I was afraid of becoming that stereotype, that was all I had to look for. And once I kind of gave up on myself and thought there was nothing else to live for, nothing else to do, I went the wrong way. I really did. I went down a really dark path. So this is just, I want you to write 5 to 10 feelings and thoughts you remember having, and sit there for a moment with yourself. Allow yourself to be there, to know what that feeling was, to know what that feeling is. Sit there for a second for me. And I'm going to give you a little time to write that out. I don't want to just keep going so fast that, you feel rushed, because I do. I want you to be honest with yourself and go back to those feelings, like that anger. Oh my God, I didn't even put anger on here, I don't think. I was so mad. I was so disappointed. I was so hurt. I was so confused, because what are you talking about? What do you mean? Like, oh my God, it did. It hurt. It hurt. It hurt. It hurt really bad. It did. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I was going to move forward. My family stepped in with me being so young. So I feel like they technically was raising my son. I didn't have much of a say so being so young. But yeah, those wounds hurt. So go ahead and write 5 to 10 feelings and thoughts you remember having, and be honest with yourself. Also, I want you to remember, healing can take time. It's not something that can happen overnight. So just think about that. Don't rush yourself. That's my daughter. Don't rush yourself when it comes to this healing journey, because it can take time. So if you cannot go through the feelings right now, to be honest with yourself and to really get deep down and dirty in there, take some time. Push pause. Remember where you stopped the video at. Whatever you got to do. Get a journal. And write it down, so that you can. I want you to be able to connect these dots from these feelings to other things in your life. So that's why chapter 2 is called Connecting the Dots. And this is just one example that I'm going to provide to you. I'm providing one example of what is connecting the dots, like how I realized these feelings affected other aspects of my life. So we're going to go ahead and go. Again, these are just a few examples I had. And, we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. Chapter 2, connecting the dots. So again, we are shedding light on these thoughts and feelings so that we can heal and release them. So now what? Now that you have those 5 to 10 examples, now that you are aware of these feelings and thoughts, we can also tie them to a single point in your life, the moment you became a single mother. I want you to analyze the different parts of your life and the different relationships you have and see if you can recognize the connection. So, what I mean there is, I want you to take some time now and see if any of those emotions, feelings, or thoughts that you felt then, or how you currently or recently, or connect those dots to other relationships and other aspects of your life. How do you show up in your relationships with your friends and your family? How do you show up at your job? Do you barely care, or do you go all in? How do you show up in your business for yourself? How do you look at yourself? What are the things that you say about yourself? And again, be honest with yourself. Be honest. Like, don't try to tell yourself what you think yourself wants to hear. You have to be honest with yourself. Like, if you look in the mirror sometimes and you feel like, oh my God, I'm ugly. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. Oh my God, I wish I had this, that, and the third. Be honest with yourself that that is how you feel. Because if you felt like you're not good enough to be a wife, that may have something to do with why you look in the mirror and feel like what you see is not enough. If you feel like a letdown because you became a single mother, or that you letting your kids down, are you overcompensating with them? Are you trying to give them everything they've ever needed and everything they've ever wanted just so they don't realize that they don't have a father present? Connect those dots. If you're angry, if anger was one of your things, how easy is it for you to get anger? How easily triggered are you to be angered? Because it's stemming from something. Something is causing you to be that easily triggered. These are your triggers. your list. These are your triggers, right? Okay. Because I felt like a failure, I wanted to hide this feeling by overdoing it in other aspects of my life. I was so focused on not being a letdown to anyone, or anyone else, including myself. I overplayed my part in jobs, friendships, and relationships, and I overplayed my part. I was always trying to show up as my best self. Any job I've ever worked at, a beast, you see, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no way you're going to tell me I'm not good enough. Like, it was this facade I had to put on that no one else could look down on me the way I look down on myself. But being a teen mother at a young age, I did feel like the church and different people kind of looked down on me. I would hear little talks and stuff like that. So I put that in my mind. I had to always put my best foot forward. I had to show up and go over and beyond, because no one else was going to look down on me, so I overplayed parts in friendships, relationships, and even jobs. I found myself always looking for acknowledgments and congratulations. Like, that was the way I measured my level of success, was through someone telling me congratulations, or someone acknowledging the work I had done or put in. I needed that to know that I was not a failure, because of what stemmed from me becoming a teenage mother and a single mother at that. My abandonment feeling made me hold on to some relationships longer than I should have, but my attachment issues made it harder for me to let some people in. So because I felt abandoned, and yes, we may have felt that with our fathers or mothers if they weren't there, but this is a totally different feeling once it's a choice that you made. You don't have anyone else to blame. You can blame your baby father all you want, but that's not going to help you heal. You have to come to understanding and just an acceptance with, yes, you chose this man to be the father of your child. It happened. It did. They may not have been the person you thought they were, whatever the circumstances was, But to do the healing, you have to acknowledge your part. So that abandonment feeling, once I would let someone in, I would tooth and nail try to hold on to them. Like, you would have to claw me away from people because I had already let them in. I had let my guard down. So once they were in, they were in. It really didn't matter what they put me through. I didn't want to be a failure. So I stayed way longer than I needed to. And then with my attachment issues, again, I attached myself to this man thinking he was going to be my husband, and that we were going to have the father and I'm sorry, yeah, the father, the mother, the kids, the white picket fence, 2 cars, all of that good stuff. And that didn't work out. So those attachment issues made it hard for me to open back up to people. So I can have a conversation with a random stranger. Like, that's just my personality, people. And then, I'm an empath. I'm a spiritual being. So people, my energy's high. So people are drawn to me, and they can come up to me and talk to me. I'll talk to them. I really hardly ever meet strangers. And that's fine. But getting in, like really letting someone in my space is not that easy. It's just not that easy. It takes a while. But then also, once you're in, it's hard for me to let go. And this is stuff I had to realize about myself writing out this class. So now I want you to write down 3 examples using your 5 to 10 feelings and traumas that you can now connect those dots to other aspects of your life. Or write 3 examples of where those feelings showed up in your life after becoming a single mother, your triggers. Like, write down 3 examples of either or. Connect the dots between your job and those feelings, your relationship with friends and family and those feelings, or connect those dots. This isn't something I can do for you because I don't know your history. So this is something you're going to have to do. Get down, get dirty, get in there. Connect those dots. That takes you analyzing yourself. You can't analyze everyone around you and be able to pick out all of their flaws and all of their traumas and not know how to do that for yourself. Connect those dots for yourself. How does it fit? How are you showing up for your kids? Are you the best mother you could be? Did you stop trying because you thought it was no way? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. My favorite thing, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And I'm going to give you guys some time there too, just so you don't feel rushed or, like you have to, pause the video a lot and different things like that. See, my mind got that. I don't know how. I was just thinking about something else totally. That's why I did these slides, because I know me. I will go all off. My wheels don't stop. Meditation, prayer helps with that. For anyone else who have a mind that's constantly going, meditation helps a lot. But yes, write 3 examples of where those feelings showed up in your life after becoming a single mother. These are what we will call your triggers. You need to know your triggers so that you can start releasing them. It shouldn't be easy for someone to trigger you, but it is currently easy to get triggered when you're unaware of your triggers. You're going to go there before you know it. And again, this is not rushed. Like, I'm just giving time now, even though I know this is a recording. I don't want to just hop to the conclusion or anything. And you guys are still writing, but definitely feel free to just pause it, before continuing if you need more time during this time right here to connect those dots. Because it took me about 2 weeks. Being honest, it took me about 2 weeks to get the class all written out. I was having a lot of days where I was just crying. And honestly, my journal is about 5 pages long. So, yeah. I say and a lot, but that's because I'm nervous. I don't know why I do this every time I get in front of this camera and get nervous. So, and see, now that you've connected those dots, right? I need you to stop allowing them to be triggers. Um, and right now, go in the comments. Let me know if any of this, resonated with you. Did you realize before that? Did you realize before that these feelings and emotions could be tied to being a single mother? That pressure that you put on yourself, that pressure that you put on your kids, that pressure that you put on others, that feeling of being a letdown, or that feeling of disappointment, that feeling of neglect, that feeling of abandonment, like all of those feelings and emotions, those triggers that as soon as someone new come into your life, if you see any inclines that they're going to do this to you, you go off, or you do everything in your power to try to stop them up. I shouldn't cuss. To stop them up from playing with you. I'm about to cuss hard, but kids may see this, so I want to be respectful, even though some of these kids really cuss worse than I do. Anyways, yeah, connect those dots. How are you showing up? How are you allowing other people to show up in your life? What are you accepting because you have abandonment issues, and so you don't want to let someone go that's not good for you because you're afraid of being alone, or you're afraid of giving up, or because that relationship didn't work back then, you refuse to not let this one work. You have to think about all of that. Because if you're continuing to make decisions and choices from a hurt place, it's hard to get to abundance. It's hard to get to that flow of life where life is just graceful, because we're holding on to so many traumas. We're holding on to so many pains. We're holding on to so much disappointment. And people are like, yeah, but such and such did this, did it. Okay, that's fine. But your job is to acknowledge the way it made you feel and then let it go. You can't control what other people do to you. You can only control your response, your reaction. And if you're just holding on to stuff, you're coming from a hurt place, not a healed place. So definitely in the comments, I would love to get some feedback from you guys. What are some of the feelings you felt? What are some of the thoughts you felt about being a single mother? And don't get me wrong, it's the most rewarding job ever. It's the hardest job ever, but it's also the most rewarding because I love my babies, and I'm a grandmother now. My son had his first son October 15th. So I'm a grandmother now, and it's literally like new level unlocked. I've even started making the best macaroni I've ever made in my life. My son was joking with me, talking about, let me find out you had to become a grandmother to get it down like this. And I was like, right, I ain't have access to the codes then. I wasn't a grandmother yet. Now I got access to those grandmother codes. Honey, my macaroni tastes better than it has. And I could cook a macaroni before. Like it's always been good, but now it's like, what? I mean, we had 2 big pans gone. But yeah, I love being a mother. I really do. And so this class isn't about not loving the job or the role. It's just about understanding that what came with it. It's about what came with it, So please share your thoughts with me. All right, let's get back to here. Now, these are some notes to self. And I want you guys to say these out loud. I want you to say them to yourself. I want you to write them down, put them on your mirror, whatever you need to do. I want you to do that if they resonate with you. Now it's got to resonate with your soul, with your spirit. If it ain't for you, it just ain't for you. And that's okay, because everything's not for everyone. And once we all realize that, we could live in a whole better world. Anyhow, I ain't gonna go off on one of my parents. But these are some notes to self. These are some things I had to write to myself, writing this to refuel myself, to pour back into myself, to love on myself, to give myself that grace and that peace. So yeah, I'm gonna read these to you. And this is my first time doing a recording like this. So I would love, don't be mean. Some of y'all are mean. Some people are just mean. And I pray for you. Like, I hope if it make you feel better, great, whatever. But like, don't be mean. Let me know how I did. I do plan to do more. I want to go live more. It's just getting my my confidence up. And I don't know. I used to go live all the time, and I be psyching myself out like, girl, nobody want to hear you. And I'm like, whatever. But I have a lot to say, and I have a lot written down. So I'm just ready to start sharing with the world. Yeah. So let's read these out. I forgive myself for feeling unworthy of my heart's desires. I forgive myself for feeling unworthy of my heart's desires. I forgive myself for the choices I made that did not align with me feeling love and whole. I forgive myself for the choices I made that did not align with me feeling love and whole. I release the limits I accepted as truths, because the limits aren't there unless you accept them as a truth. I released the limits I accepted as truth. Just because I was a single mother did not mean I would never amount to anything, because I have accomplished some great things in my life. I've done 2 movies, and I just auditioned for a third one. So there's just a lot of things I've been able to accomplish. Like I said, I retired from corporate America. I've done some really great things. I'm very proud of myself and where I am currently. And I'm excited to where I'm going. So I release those limits I accepted as truths. I am no longer bound by the choices I made. I'm not bound by those choices. I am a new me. I am a new version of myself. I am the best version of myself that I can be. And I'll never stop learning and growing and allowing that space for change. But I am so happy with who I have become now. And being, trigger warning, being a suicidal survivor and coming from depression and anxiety, self-healed. I was able to self-heal. Everyone can't do that. So I do want you guys to reach out for help if you feel depressed, if you feel suicidal. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. Please get help. BetterHelp is one that I've heard a lot about, and just reach out. It is an online thing, so you don't have to go to an actual facility or anything, and therefore it's a lot cheaper. So look up BetterHelp. But yes, I'm no longer bound by the choices I made. I'm no longer bound. I allow myself the freedom to love without fear, regret, and pain. Ooh, how many of us will get with a guy and we'll plan all the great future that you and him can have, or a woman, whoever you with, a person, a partner, you get with a partner, and you, in that moment, you see all the great things that can happen, but then you see all the bad things that can happen. And somehow that pain and that fear and that regret kind of outweighs all the good that can happen. So now we are already planning a failed relationship. We already see it because of these triggers and these things that happened in the past. We expect the worst out of people. But now we're going to allow ourselves the freedom to love without fear, without regret, without pain. We don't need those things. Allow yourself to be free. Allow yourself to love freely. It doesn't matter if this one person doesn't give it back. When you are in abundance and a flow, the Most High God is going to give you everything you need. It may not come from the person you want it to come from. Trust is coming. It's there. It's always been there. I allow myself the freedom to love without fear, regret, and pain. My past does not determine my future nor my present. Your past does not determine your future. Your present situation or circumstances does not determine your present, your future. There's so many great things you can do and accomplish. There's so much that God has in you that he wants you to birth. He wants you to experience. He wants you to feel. But we got to let go of everything that's holding us back. And your thoughts and your feelings and emotions are a big part in that holdback. We got to release it. It's time to release it. We can't take it into the 4D, 5D world. I no longer have to fight for acceptance, for I now accept myself, flaws and all. Now, this is the one that gets me teary-eyed because I no longer have to fight for acceptance. I no longer have to overplay my part in friendships, relationships, or jobs because I accept me for who I am, flaws and all. I love me. And it took a while to get here. But I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to share my journey here so that I can assist others to get here. I no longer have to fight for acceptance, for I now accept myself. All right. I'm going to do this. I can do this. I got this. Whew. Flaws and all. So, yeah. Write these down. Take a screenshot. However you're watching it, it may be a while before you see this. I don't know. But I'm just being obedient. I'm being obedient, getting it recorded and getting it posted. Flaws and all. All right. So that is the ending of the presentation, the slideshow, guys. I thank you for taking the time to watch it. I want it to not be too long. I know our attention span can kind of come and go. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. I am going to put my Cash App up there if you feel the need to donate. I really do appreciate it. Your feedback is worth more than anything. I would love to know if you enjoyed this class, if you interested in some more, if you have some topics you would like for me to go over, because I promise you I've probably been through it and there's no judgment here. Like, that's one thing we all got to stop doing, is judging others and ourselves. Stop being so hard on yourself, baby. You made a mistake, it happens. Go through those emotions, feel it, and then let's let it go. Let's let it go. I love you guys. I thank you so much. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I thank you for taking your healing journey serious. Like, this is really important that we are able to move forward with our lives. To all the single mothers out there, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. Don't be letting nobody stress you, honey. You're doing a great job. You do what you can. That's all you can do. You do what you can. You're going to be the villain or superhero, and maybe both. So it don't even matter. It's okay. You do what you can, and the rest ain't up to you. But I love you guys. I hope you have a great day. And I hope you come back and join for more. Bye.